Hi, I'm Eric Tomato,
And I am Matt.
and welcome to Mindbreakers.
Whoa.
As I think I may have hinted at, but didn't probably hint at very well last time, we are watching Knightriders today.
Not Knightrider.
No,
Knight
we're not
Knightriders.
watching the show with David Hasselhoff in a weird talking car. I've never actually seen any of that.
It's
We
interesting,
don't
to say the
review
least.
TV shows. Heck, some movies are long enough. We don't need to watch an entire TV series.
Yeah, you can tell me about it.
So Knightriders, 1981, 6.3 out of 10, by George A. Romero.
The boy himself.
The king of zombies, the king of the zombies, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
A medieval reenactment troupe find it increasingly difficult to keep their family-like group together. With pressure from local law enforcement, interest from entertainment agents, and a growing sense of delusion from their leader.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
It's directed and written by George A. Romero. Stars Ed Harris, Gary Latty, don't really know him, and Tom Savini, the makeup genius behind Zombies, and, well, Jason Voorhees.
Yep. Pretty good guy, if you ask me. If you want my opinion on that.
Yeah, and I've seen him act in small roles before, like he was the guy with the machete in Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, cool.
He was also the oddly named Sex Machine, the biker with the pistol codpiece in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, that was him?
That was him.
That's funny.
Anyway, got any predictions for this one?
I assume there's going to be jousting. And I think I'm pretty safe on that assumption.
It's basically, as I think I said last episode, it's knights on motorcycles.
It is knights on motorcycles. I'm so excited.
As am I. Let's watch this.
Woohoo.
Once, courageous knights roamed the land, searching for adventure, ready to brave any challenge. Knightriders. The knight is a fighting machine, disciplined in mind and heart, and noble to the death. Knightriders. Action. Adventure. Romance. Heraldry. Pageantry. And magic.
Magic got to do with the soul, man. Only those old got destiny.
Knightriders. They ride for the crown. They fight for honor.
That kid thinks I'm evil Knievel.
That kid thinks you're William the Knight. You're his hero.
I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm fighting the dragon.
Following a dream as far as it will take them. Because a legend lives as long as someone believes.
This isn't just a roadside carny anymore. Not for some of us. It's a lot more than that. It's a whole lot more. You know that, Morgan.
You guys is the most fun I got in my life. I just don't want to see you all break up.
You think it's breaking up?
It's money, Billy. It's all to do with money. Money makes the world go around, even your world.
Small town jails is, uncomfortable places.
Damn uncomfortable.
Throw down the gauntlet. Take up the challenge. A new age begins. Romance and adventure live. Knightriders. The legend is born.
This was an interesting one.
Yeah, interesting is the right word, I think.
It was 2 hours, well, over 2 hours, and it wasn't what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were getting ready to watch this, we saw the image of that man on like the Knightriders logo.
I mean,
right?
He is in the movie. That bike is in the movie, and Ed Harris in that costume is in the movie.
Oh yeah, it's all there. It's just
it's not an action. It looks like an action film, but it isn't. There's some impressive stunt work in the movie, but that's really not what it's about.
Yeah, like when you see like a poster like that, or just knights on motorcycles doing jousting shit, you're like, oh, this is just gonna be an hour and a half of silly wackiness, right?
And there is some silly wackiness.
There is.
There's some like Dukes of Hazzard level slapstick in some scenes of this movie.
Absolutely.
But on the whole, it's
a very serious film.
It's a modern retelling of La Mort d'Arthur in a kind of in a biker gang setting.
Yeah.
I think it would have worked better without the medieval reenactment stuff added on. I think would have been better as just a straight biker film retelling La Mort d'Arthur, personally.
I think that would have worked really well, yeah, honestly.
And it could have been a little, I rarely say this, it could have been a little less subtle with some of the things.
Oh, okay,
because there are some non-verbal, just look exchanges between the character who's standing in for Guinevere and the character who's standing in for Lancelot that don't make sense unless you know that it's a retelling of La Mort d'Arthur and it's hinting at the romance between those two characters. Also, unless you've read La Mort d'Arthur,
which I will admit I have not,
and it's kind of rough to expect the common movie-going public, especially the kind that would watch a film called Knightriders by George Romero, to have read La Mort d'Arthur.
I think the audience would be pretty, not slim, but
I mean, it's one of those films that was kind of doomed from inception.
Okay.
Because there are two kinds of people who would go to see George Romero's Knightriders. And there's either the George Romero fans who are going to be disappointed that they did not get Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
And then there's the common film critics who were probably, oh, what? It's by the zombie film guy. Oh, it's cute that he's trying. We'll throw him a 5.
A 5?
Just because we think it's quaint.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, we start out in a fantasy fairy forest where a very naked Ed Harris wakes up as a bird flits around making shaky cam happen.
As most movie starts, as you know.
Well, okay, to be fair, most of the movies we've watched on this show have started in space.
Fair. That's very fair, actually. Yeah.
Then a woman wakes up with him. Ed Harris goes into the lake and flagellates himself with a willow branch. This is never explained or gone into why he is doing this.
Nope.
Then he puts on a tunic. The girl with him puts on a medieval-looking dress. He armors up. He puts on his helmet, which... Okay, the helmets in this movie, I don't like them.
I was gonna say the same thing. They're very weird
because they don't work for the medieval aesthetic, and most of them don't work for the motorcycle aesthetic because having all those slits in your helmet is a terrible idea if you don't want to get your face shredded by gravel.
Yeah.
It makes them, and because they're just oversized enough, it makes all the characters when they have their helmets on look like Playmobil figures. And it's kind of hard to take scenes seriously like that.
I wasn't really thinking like Playmobil. I was thinking more like bobbleheads, but Playmobil is so much better.
Yeah, because they look like the Playmobil Knights I had as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone looks fine without their helmets on, but obviously you don't want to have stunt scene. Well, obviously because you have stunt riders instead of the actors, they need to have the helmets on, and just common sense, you need to have a helmet while doing stunts on a motorcycle.
Of course.
And this man, Sir Billy.
Ah, yes.
Not to be confused with the bizarre animated Sean Connery movie that you should not ever search out or try to watch. He gets on his dirt bike and rides off. Cut to a Ren fair.
This movie's intro is so wild.
Dun, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It sounds like Legend of Zelda music half the time.
Little bit, yeah. I noticed that too when watching the film.
I mean, I think it predates Legend of Zelda by a bit. It's 1981.
81? About, I think, 2 years, maybe. Or a year, give or take. But no, this... God, this movie is...
It definitely predates the games where it had music like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure. For sure. You're not going to see that in a fucking Nintendo game. Like NES.
1986, Legend of Zelda came out.
Oh my god. Damn. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I'll
slight
admit,
distraction. I saw it got a 4.6 out of 10, and I was greatly offended until I realized it was out of 5.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa there, who's the critic?
So, there's a Ren Fair, there's leather things being made, pottery being made, there's a familiar-looking blacksmith telling people how to make the lances so they break properly. This is, let me find his name, Ken Foree, playing Little John. Ken Foree, you may know, from Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, yeah,
he played
right. That is
Peter. He played Peter in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that's right.
In the good Dawn of the Dead. He was also briefly in the bad Dawn of the Dead.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember the other one, so...
The remake is not great.
Eh.
Some people like it. I greatly do not.
Everyone has their own...
Fast zombies. It's not fair. Okay, I can accept like a lurching sprint, but they can keep up with a car, and that's just stupid.
Sure.
There's just people enjoying the fair. Morgan, my favorite character in the film, played by Tom Savini, is practicing with a mace.
Yeah, Morgan's probably my favorite character too.
And Alan, our Lancelot stand-in, doesn't want him to use the mace because it could easily kill somebody.
I mean, when you look at it, I can kind of see it.
It's solid metal.
Yeah. It's like a fucking meat cleaver. Jesus.
Obviously, because you can't easily... You need to have at least one hand on the motorbike. They don't actually have shields, the knights, but the shields are mounted as the windshields of the bikes.
Yeah.
We meet Julie and her family.
Oh my god, that's right, this character.
And
Christ.
Julie, Patricia Tallman, I'm not going to say she's a bad actor.
No.
But she seems like she's a stage-trained actor as opposed to a screen-trained actor.
Yeah,
In theater, on stage, you have to make everything bigger, everything has to be louder, your expressions have to be bigger because you have to reach people in the back row as well.
That's it, yeah.
And on screen, that doesn't really look natural.
No, because in the camera's view, right, that the audience is right in front of her, right?
Yeah. The father, whatever his name is.
I don't remember anything about her family. I just remember her.
He wants to buy an ear of... He's trying to get a second ear of corn, but it's actually his third ear of corn, and he has to pay for it, but he doesn't want to because he dropped his second ear. It's unimportant. But he's being a jerk, and he's called out for being a jerk by his daughter, Julie.
You know, as you should, you should.
We see Stephen King just being Stephen King and looking like he's just enjoying being on a movie set.
God bless that man.
Billy comes back. There's some trouble with a local deputy who's trying to get a bribe out of them, but they don't want to pay him because it's wrong. Even though Morgan's like, just look, this isn't really worth the trouble. Let's just give him the $50 and we can move on with our day.
Is it really only like $50?
I don't know. It's whatever it is from the take. It's just, I think it's like $200, but still, let's just not be hassled by the law.
Yeah.
I mean,
they probably got enough trouble as it is.
Billy points out that's wrong to pay him, and he's right. It is wrong, but
yeah,
you're basically a bunch of gypsy motorcycle men. No one likes you. Maybe, maybe not keep antagonizing everyone.
Yeah, Billy likes to do that a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, Billy is insane, as someone will point out later.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We meet the interesting Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin is he's quite a character.
He's played by a man called Brother Blue.
Nice.
I don't think I need to explain Merlin in a King Arthur thing. He's but in this he doesn't have a beard. He is bald, beardless, dressed like a wizard, and has butterflies painted on his hand and on his hands and his face.
He sure does.
This is the only movie he has ever appeared in.
Really?
There's a documentary, Street Music, where he was in, and A Day with Blue, which he was in, but those are just documentaries about him.
All right, then.
Because he was that kind of, he was an interesting, just wacko street performer.
Oh, okay.
He'd convert Shakespeare and King Arthur stories and Greek myths and all that into spoken word.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So the Julie and Alan, he's our Lancelot, get to know each other. She actually accidentally knocks his bike over and drops it on his leg 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
I don't know how, but
so,
found a way.
So obviously they are now in love. Because that's how that works.
I mean, that's how it
apparently.
works, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Then we get the jousting. And it's jousting.
It is exactly what you think it is.
It's jousting on motorcycles. We can't really go that more into depth in it. It's
if you have seen jousting,
happens.
if you have seen jousting, replace horses with motorcycles, you good.
A lot of it's not that important.
Sadly,
their lots are drawn by a little person with a deck of cards.
There's a lot of characters I just kind of forget about. That was one of them.
A lot of characters are just there.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like you have your mains and then everyone else.
Like there's one character I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who's announcing things. And
yeah.
He is. His storyline is not important to the plot of the film, so I'm just gonna get it out now.
Yeah, go ahead.
He doesn't know if he's gay or not, and then he finds out he is gay, and then he and some other character who isn't actually important to the film are a couple. Boom, story over. Good. That's that.
Yeah, see, he did that in like 10 seconds. It took the movie like 2 hours. And it's not like it's bad. It's just like it happens, and you're like, oh, okay, sure.
One of the knights is a woman. Her name is Rocky. The others aren't really that memorable.
Yeah,
except
they are.
There's one called Marholt. He's cool because he's played by. Let me find his name. He's basically Morgan's sidekick.
Yeah.
He's played by Scott H. Reiniger, who played Roger in Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, okay, cool.
You'll see a lot of people who you recognize from Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead in this movie, especially among the bikers, because there are bikers in one movie, and if you know people who can already do stunt bike work, you're going to use them again.
I mean, fair enough, right?
The only really important fight is between Morgan and Kay, and they both get dismounted, so they do another pass on riding something that's called Hacks, which is a motorcycle not driven by the knight. It has a sidecar, but it's just a platform with a kind of like fencing on, like rigging, on it that the knight holds on to, and they fight with hand weapons. Morgan uses a mace, Kay uses a battle axe, and Morgan wins.
Yeah.
And then King Billy challenges Morgan, and Morgan wins. So in something I consider really not fair, the knights get all ride to protect the king before Morgan can claim the crown, and somehow it's counted, and somehow Morgan doesn't get to be in the championship, which he did beat Kay, so he should be in the championship.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
It's unfair. I can understand why Morgan's so dissatisfied.
Yeah, like, that man proved himself, and then it's just like, nah, man. Nah. We can't let the king be hurt.
Oh, Morgan has a girlfriend who is the mechanic.
See.
They have good chemistry. They have really good chemistry.
I like them both. Yeah, for sure.
Billy actually gets seriously injured. His he already has a shoulder wound, and the breastplate bites into it.
Yeah.
And then he's getting treated in his tent. Brother Blue gives us King Arthur's story in spoken word. It's pretty cool, but
I mean, really, it's just there, right? Kind of like a lot of things in this movie.
Billy's telling him about a vision he has about a blackbird, and that blackbird's going to mean his death. And
don't worry, guys, that means nothing. It doesn't get brought up ever.
And Merlin's like, yeah, you're probably going to make that happen yourself. Like, I don't know, some guy comes in, he has a blackbird painted on his shield, you let your guard down, you die.
I mean, after this,
Alan tells him he's out of his mind. A kid comes to get Billy's signature, who he's also called Billy. It's a signature in a Psycho magazine, and Billy's all poopy because he didn't sign off on this, and he doesn't like the whole commercialism thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm not trying to be a hero, I'm fighting the dragon, and the dragon is a stand-in for commercialism, and I think that's way too subtle because I had to watch the commentary track to pick that up.
Honestly, I didn't pick that up either.
There's Friar Tuck, who's one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Basically, they clean up, good music. The soundtrack in this is really good.
Yeah, the soundtrack is honestly really good. Yeah.
A lot of good folk stuff, a lot of good early rock stuff. Like that one.
It's a very 80s soundtrack, you know.
I'd say very 70s because it's 1981.
Yeah, 70s.
Very 80s soundtrack. I go for the Friday the 13th movies, especially 5.
Is 5 Manhattan?
No, 8 is Manhattan.
Oh wait, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
There are way too many of those movies.
Yes.
Lose
track.
They're getting the cops come and raid them. They arrest someone for marijuana possession.
Oh yeah.
And Billy insists on going with them.
For, protect his people or
to be a witness. Doesn't go well.
No. The other guy gets the. He gets the shit kicked out of him. Honestly.
Yeah, Southern hospitality.
Very Southern hospitality.
The sheriff and their lawyer get them out.
Yeah.
But the rest of the group has already moved on, even though Billy specifically told them not to. Lynette, she is the Guinevere stand-in, takes control of the group, and they head to the next town. They're doing a show, and they do their thing. Tuck actually has a really fun line when the police are coming to raid everyone. It's, I think they're here to take my still. Tuck, I've told you, wine's not illegal. It's more fun to pretend that it is. I like Tuck. Tuck's cool.
Yeah, I love that line.
Tuck, also known as the Funky Friar.
The Funky Friar.
They meet up with some... They run into some people who have been called to represent them as Hollywood agents and to write up a piece on them. Billy's not going to like that.
Nope.
And does... Billy talks about people... because he's with Merlin and their lawyer, Steve, I think it's called.
I think that's his name.
he doesn't want to get signed to an entertainment company anyway, and
is it Morgan that is like gung ho for
oh yeah,
it?
Morgan really wants to.
Yeah, because he just sees like the positive side of it.
Yeah, he sees the money because they don't have money and things cost money even for them.
Yeah, I mean, as much as he loves doing this, because it looks like Morgan genuinely does like doing this. Like, it's like he says, you know, there's no money coming in. How are we going to continue to do this?
Billy's like, it's not about money. It's about ideals. And,
yeah, you know,
yeah.
typical main character spiels.
They eventually get back to town after everything's sorted through. There's a council meeting going on at their camp, and Billy throws a shit fit.
That's mildly putting it, I think.
He just is a prick to everybody.
Literally everyone.
Which is why the group is splitting up now.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot to talk about in this movie because it's not a bad movie in the way that we're used to movies being bad movies.
Yeah.
It's also a very long movie and not the most exciting movie, so I know I put this on the list without watching it first. Sometimes you get a dud.
I mean, like, look, you saw fucking Knights on Motorcycles, you go, yeah, you know,
Saw
yeah,
George
I want
Romero's name attached to it.
and it's like you said, it's not a bad movie. It's just like, once you finish it, you're like, not a lot happened, and that's not a good thing in a 2.5 hour movie.
I mean, some bikers steal weapons and ride off, but they get caught pretty quickly.
That actually, I like that whole chase sequence.
There's another tourney, and it goes way much more violently than before. A bike actually spins out of control into the audience and hits a woman in the face.
Oh yeah, it's right. Frick, forgot about that.
Merlin, by the way, he's a doctor, like an actual doctor, medical doctor.
Yeah.
That's why he's there. Then there are some bikers from town who made their own armor. One is actually a Native American man who we saw in the crowd when they were doing their parade through the city, through the small town.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Julie's currently living with them now.
Yeah.
But after the group breaks up because... No.
Well, yeah, no, it's around there.
The Native American, he comes in on his bike with the armor, and he's painted a blackbird.
Yeah.
On his breastplate, and it's the if you've seen like medieval German standard, it's that black eagle with the two heads.
Oh yeah, that it is, huh?
That he has on his breastplate, and Billy wants to fight him, but Billy he's very injured, so Alan's like, no, you can't fight him, you're gonna die, dude. So
yeah,
they fight.
Billy wants to fight him because, and it's my vision.
He gets knocked off his bike like 3 times, rule of 3. And then finally Billy fights the Native American. He doesn't have a name, so I'll just call he fights the Blackbird Knight.
Yeah.
And beats the Blackbird Knight. The Blackbird Knight eventually joins them and paints the knight and paints the Blackbird blue. Morgan and his group leave. A bunch of other people leave. Tuck goes with Morgan. Because he's dating the photographer now.
He sure is. Good lord.
Alan goes up with Steve the lawyer to visit his family.
Yeah, he brings Julie along, if I'm not mistaken.
On the way back he drops Julie at home because she's not right for the life, and he doesn't actually love her.
Like her?
Yeah.
I think it was also I think there's something about her just trying to run away from home.
Yeah.
Or something. Because her dad's a dick. And he's just like, that's stupid. That's not the reason you join us.
Yeah.
Like, go home. It's kind of a weird not out of nowhere scene, but like it happened and I was like, okay, I guess, sure.
The life of fame isn't working all that well for Morgan and the guys. They have pictures taken of them, and we are treated, I suppose, to Tom Savini wearing nothing but a metal thong and a cape. I must say it's refreshing to see guys in the Boris Vallejo armor for once.
That whole part is like probably the highlight of the movie, just because of how out of nowhere it is.
I'm surprised it was in the movie. I saw it in like production stills and thought it was just production stills.
Yeah, I thought it was just like, advertisement or something.
Like really
no, it was
weird
there. It's in there. I mean, hey, if it works, it works.
There's a fight in a motel room.
Yeah, lamps get thrown and stuff like that. Your typical hotel room fight.
Portraits get smashed over people's heads.
Yeah, everything's there.
And well, Morgan is thinking things over on the side of the road. Alan comes by and says there can only be one king, Morgan. So
ensue the ending.
Then Alan goes in. Then we have a cool scene where Alan and Steve are driving. Then Morgan in the new armor drives in. And I don't like this armor. Because it looks really fake.
Yeah.
It's armor that the agent had commissioned for them as a traveling as a show, as an attraction. But it looks, too much of it looks like it's glitter and hot glue, and that it would not work. The other armor looks like it would work. This just doesn't. It looks like something out of a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah, is that the one with like the front plate that looks like it has like poles stuck to it or whatever, like in a diagonal angle or some shit? Yeah, it's very weird.
Then he comes in and joins them. Then 2 more people in that armor come and join them. Then 3 more come and join them. Then they all arrive at camp, and Morgan challenges Billy. And Dallin's like, right, if you agree to sit on your ass and let us do this, there's still some of us who are willing to fight for you. So now they're having a tournament. The winner gets the crown.
Yep.
And Morgan
wins. I really like the whole ending sequence. I think it's very fun.
Morgan wins, and he gets crowned and rips up the contract. Lynette gives him the crown, which he puts on the queen's crown, which he puts on his girlfriend's head, because they had a turbulent thing, but they're back together. That's not really important to the movie.
Nah.
Then Billy and the Blackbird Knight the Bluebird Knight now get on their bikes and go. Back during the prison scene, Billy did promise the sheriff, the deputy, that if he ever sees him again, he's going to beat the shit out of him.
So guess who he sees again?
Yeah, they go into a McDonald's and beat the shit out of him. Well,
is that the part where everybody claps?
Yeah, everyone just applauds him.
I love it.
He beats the shit out of him, pours McFlurry onto his head, and then locks him in the freezer.
And everyone just stands up and cheers. It's like a big fucking heroic.
And then the Bluebird Knight's here, money for damages to the restaurant. Sorry about that. The Bluebird Knight never gets a line.
No.
And so next they go to they walk into a school. Billy in full armor goes up to child Billy and gives him his sword.
I forgot about that.
This is the one who wanted the autograph, but Billy refused to because he didn't believe in that kind of stuff. And then they're driving. Billy looks to the side and sees himself on a horse. And then he gets hit by a truck, and he dies.
Yeah.
And then they bury him. Well, I'd Rather Be a Wanderer by Donald Rubinstein plays, and everyone's sad.
Yeah, the ending of this movie is
Yeah.
It was certainly depressing, to say the least.
Yeah, but there's a reason this is only recently coming back and getting some kind of following.
Really?
Yeah.
Dare I ask why?
Well, the reason it's waited till now to start coming back as opposed to Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, which immediately did. There's a reason this didn't go well when it came out.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Knightriders.
It's a movie. Yeah. That's all I got. It's good. It's just you're in for a long haul.
It could have been done to drop an hour of the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely some scenes that didn't need to be in the movie, to say the least. But it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
You can tell this is a really big, just passion project, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Savini apparently now is in possession of Billy's bike.
Oh wow, that thing's still kicking around?
Yeah, it still works. I listened to the commentary track, so at least the time when the commentary track was recorded, he had the bike.
Cool. It's nice to know these things kind of, survive.
Mm. Oh, George A. Romero had one of the thrones, and Tom Savini had the other one.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest, honestly.
So yeah, that was Knightriders. Anything you want to say about it?
There's that one part that we mentioned before that I thought was like really funny when watching this movie. You know the part where the woman gets hit with the bike, and like
That's
everyone's
funny
kind of
to you?
panicking. No, that part isn't funny. What's funny to me is the part after where they're trying to get her out on the stretcher and everything, but everyone is still cheering for Knights to beat the shit out of each other.
I think
and
that's less funny and more just how twisted people are.
Well, that's what's funny to me. The fact that like people are just like, fuck it, yeah, a child almost died, and a woman's possibly, dead.
She doesn't die,
but
though.
fuck it, she doesn't. But
No
like,
one
fuck it, we want Knights.
seems worried enough about that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there's one part about it that's like even among the Knights and the people running the show, no one's worried enough about that. There's even one where the sheriff called. He said the woman's alive, and just. I'm sorry, the sheriff would... Someone at your show got hit with a motorcycle. The sheriff's probably coming to shut you down.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? There's no repercussions for it. It was so weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
But, outside of that, it's kind of like how we view Krull, where it was like... it's good. It could have lost an hour and there would have been no impact to the movie itself, except Krull was probably a little bit more enjoyable.
It'll never be as perfect as Flash Gordon.
No, never. God bless.
But the song that plays at the funeral, I'd Rather Be a Wanderer by Donald Rubinstein, that is really good.
Yeah, that part was honestly, like, it's probably my favorite part of the whole movie. But I'm going to be real.
There's not enough really good music in it. I mean, there's its own score, which is good, but there's not enough licensed music in it for it to be a really good soundtrack movie, like Guardians of the Galaxy or Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Or in my opinion, The Jungle Book, because the music in The Jungle Book is better than the movie The Jungle Book.
Animated, I assume?
Well, of course.
You talking? Okay. Yeah, I probably agree to that.
Louis Prima is amazing.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So, yeah, Knightriders. Sorry we didn't have more to say about it. We got a shorter episode this week, but next episode, it is going to be October, and we're going into Halloween.
Ooh.
So, have a little lesser known, but quickly gaining ground horror series that started way back in 1979, featuring a very tall man.
Ooh.
See you then, guys.
Take care.